Okay, so here is my gym at my apartment complex. As you can see, it has some decent enough, if you will, equipment. Has one of those manual walking treadmills. It has an not elliptical, but a rowing machine. It also has cycling, a stationary cycle, some free weights that you saw. Um, a leg machine to do leg curls or leg extensions. And then off to the left here, as I'm doing my set, there is a cable machine. So today was my what I call a heavy pull day. And what that means is I work with my large pull muscles. So that would be my back and that would be my hamstrings. Right now, at this moment, I'm doing a warm up. And so I do a very intentional warm up. It is three different sets of different rep ranges. So the first set is 20. And as you can see, I'm doing 20 pounds on each side of straight leg dumbbell deadlift. Um, and I'm very intentional about the warm up just because I've found, at least for myself, I can't speak for others, that in warming up in this way, it definitely primes the muscle and allows me to be more effective in the workout rather than kind of just jumping in cold turkey or with a very shorter warm up. So even though my warm up is long, I definitely believe that it helps with putting my muscles where they need to be in my body, in the even my mind in the mindset of lifting. So as you saw, I just finished the first set. That's a set of 20. I do a minute rest in between each of the warm-ups, and then do the next set. So for my next set, I'll be doing a set of, what is it? Is that 10? I believe, yes, it's 10 pounds. And when I do that 10 pounds, I'm sorry, not 10 pounds, 10 reps. I humbly apologize. So I do 10 reps of, I believe I double the weight, so 40 in each hand, so it goes up to 80. Right now, I am currently setting up what I want to do for my working set, which will be using the cable machine to do my straight leg dumbbell deadlift. Um, with that, I thought it would provide a better, if you will, workout than just using dumbbells because unfortunately the dumbbells only go up to 75. So this was my way to kind of make the workout harder. I personally do not believe that it helped in, basically giving me additional weight. I actually felt like it was easier to do the dumbbell deadlift on, or rather, well, so I thought personally that it was easier to do the dumbbell deadlift with the cable machine rather than doing it with the just dumbbells. Because when I went to the next set of doing, or I'm sorry, next set of reps with doing leg curl, it was not, I was not as taxed and I could actually do more reps. So that was a little disappointing, but something I took note of, and I definitely plan on reassessing when I do my next heavy pull day and seeing one, maybe I just got stronger. So, even though it may have felt easier to do the um leg curls on the machine that you can see behind me, it could also have been that I was just stronger. And it's not that, I basically cheated myself by doing the straight leg deadlift on this cable machine. I will also admit, though, that the setup for the cable machine is very precarious. So, not the best and not the most ideal, and probably something I won't be engaging in again. But it was something I wanted to try because I'm quickly, outgrowing my apartment gym. So I needed to find a way to make the workouts harder while I'm still here, but definitely looking to get out of this gym and get a regular gym membership. And when I say definitely, that's actually a lie because personally, I like the apartment gym because one, it's easy to just go down there when I'm ready, get my lift in, and then I'm out. But unfortunately, if I go to a standard gym, if you will, I have to deal with, sharing uh, weights, sharing equipment, and all of that, and then wiping down after people. So it's not necessarily ideal, but um, we're going to do it because there's no point in staying here if, we're not growing. So just to recap, sorry, on the previous set, I did a set of 10 for with 80 pounds, 40 in each hand. And then just now I did a set of 60. That was my last warm up, and I did that for 8 reps. So now I will be waiting an additional minute, and then we'll get into what I call the working set, in which I will use the standing, I'm sorry, not the standing, but in which I will use the, what is this? Sorry, the cable machine to do my straight leg deadlift. Do apologize for my hand being in front of the camera and this being focused on me, but I was trying to figure out a way to set this up, and it was not working in my favor. But fortunately, after I do this second move, I was able to find a position that helped for you to see the motion, because that's really what I was focused on is showing the motion that I was performing, uh, as well as the weight as it's moving. So I think with this last setup, even though it's taken me a while to get there, you will be able to see uh, me in the position, form, if you will, technique, and yeah, be able to show and you what's happening, get into it. Also, because I have transitioned my workouts recently, now that they are longer, which is not something that I enjoy, sorry. But it also helps me to build the strength that I'm looking for. And I will say that at least from my experience and what I've seen of riding the Peloton and doing this weight training, the weight gains are definitely, or strength gains, I'm sorry, are definitely there because my FTP, and that stands for functional threshold power. I don't want to get too far or too deep into it, but it Garmin keeps suggesting that my FTP is going up. And I was never getting that information before that. Garmin was saying, hey, your FTP after, uh, analyzing your data for this ride, we see that your FTP is going up. So that's encouraging. So when I actually do an FTP ride, we'll see what it looks like. But right now, Garmin is saying that I'm making gains. Um, Also, a couple things mentioned, random because everyone probably sees it. On the back of my left arm, you can see this device. Um, some people may know it's called a continuous glucose monitor. And basically, what that is a failed experiment for myself, but also successful in part. But what I wanted to do was find out how food affected me. So we always know through doing different research and looking up different material that these foods are good for you and these foods are bad for you in so many words. Um, my problem, I will say, with that is that while for the general populace, this information may be true, that may not be true for everyone. And so, what I wanted to do was see how specific foods affected me specifically. I know that was a lot of specific there, but so what I did is I bought this system that allowed me to monitor my blood glucose, and it's cool because what happens is you can input your workouts, you can input the food that you ate, and then you can see how your glucose spikes over time. One of the benefits, I will say, of having this system was that for myself, when I am about to do a Peloton ride, I time my meal so that as my blood glucose is spiking from the carbs that I just had, I'm actually going to enter into my Peloton workout. The beauty of that is that there's free glucose in my blood. And when I say free, it's like floating around in my blood. And so my body doesn't necessarily have to, quote unquote, liberate glycogen in order to provide the fuel necessary. So I'm using kind of science, if you will, to power my workouts. And also, I think possibly that might be why my FTP is increasing as well. So it might not even be because of my strength increases. It could just be because of, me eating in a more defined way that is helping with these gains. So I don't know, but we'll see. So that's one thing. The second thing is I don't know if any of you are familiar, but I have straps. So straps are what you use in order to hold the weight when it's really heavy, but you may not have the forearm or grip power to maintain holding that weight. Um, so obviously the one thing is you could develop your grip power, your strength to then hold the weight. Yes, and I definitely believe that's important. But also I think it's important to challenge your muscles, i.e., your larger muscles, such as your hamstrings, um, through, let's say, mm, through the weight that they need, but doing it in such a way that may um bring to light or bring to attention the other weaker muscles. So I like to use straps because I can lift heavier weight, but also um, it does give me a slight workout on my forearms. So that way I'm training them as well. But I also do train forearms separately. So that way they can get stronger. Um, Now there is a 3 minute wait because I'm lifting heavy, or a 3 minute rest period in between sets. So that's why you haven't seen me on camera for so long. But right now I'm getting into position. I wrap the straps around the, what are it called? The, what are those called? The handles for the cable machine. Sorry, I do apologize. I'm blanking on words at the moment. But yes, I do that and then I enter into the set. One thing that I don't like about the cable machine is that I don't know if you can see, but it definitely makes me go further back in my straight leg deadlift than I would prefer. And I just also this setup is terrible. As you can see when I was mounting the what is that called? The bench right there. It was just very unstable and I didn't like it. So I that's also part of the reason I won't be using this setup again. The reason I pause in between sets also when you see that is that I have a watch by Garmin which allows me to track my workouts. And so what I'm doing right there is inputting the rep count that I just finished. And if I did a weight that was not the set weight that I was supposed to do, I change that as well for the actual exercise. So it's a suggestion of saying, this is how much I think I'll be able to lift. But then once I do this set, if I did more, then I modify that so that when I go back and I evaluate my workouts, I can say, oh, well, I thought I was going to be able to do this and I did less, so I should probably scale back. Maybe I need more rest, sleep, or I see that I am progressing faster than I thought I was going to be able to or should. So I should actually increase the weight that I'll be working, or the working weight. So yeah, it just depends. But for me, I enjoy being able to track through Garmin. It's kind of mindless and simple, which is something I enjoy. The info and the feedback and the analysis that Garmin provides is definitely a bonus. There are some things that I wish they did better, but I will say just as a overall system for myself, I definitely enjoy it. Um, while I actually am sitting here and waiting for my rest period to finish, I usually do Duolingo, um, or catch up on text messages. I think Duolingo is the best for me, because also I get to hit some of the challenges and everything. And one of my goals in life in general is to be multilingual. So currently I'm working on French. I was working on Spanish before. I'm not necessarily master at that, but definitely will go back to that language course as well to finish that up. Um, I just remember that when I went to France, I felt very inept and I was not capable in communicating in the language in a way that I thought was important. So, what I did is I kind of vowed myself to never go back without having command of the language. So that's why I switched to French. So yeah, not that I plan on going back to France anytime soon, but you never know with these things. But yeah, so I do Duolingo. I can do about two or three lessons in between each 3 minute rest period. I feel like that's sufficient. Not ideal, but there's not much else I can do. And also because this is my heavy pull day, I don't like to do other things. Like, you could also do some type of superset, right? So while I'm letting my, what's it called? My hamstrings recover from the heavy lift, I could do something with upper body. And yes, I could do that, but for myself, I don't find pleasure or something in that. That's not the way I want to go. So I just make it a very long lift day, unfortunately. And really, at the end of the day, as long as I stick to the time periods that exist, it's really not terrible. I think maybe it's an hour and a half at max, maybe. So it's definitely something that I enjoy, and uh, it helps me, if you will, to kind of focus and uh, check out for my day, if you will, so that way I can focus on what's important. And health is definitely an important thing to me. Um, so on this particular set, I believe what I did is I increased the weight all the way to the full stack. Um, I was noticing that, what I was lifting wasn't actually challenging me. And so what I wanted to do was add more weight. And that also could have been why, if you will, I didn't feel challenged before in the lift. Um, but yeah, I don't know. We'll see how this goes. But well, rather, I won't be doing this again. But that was why this one changed, and also the reason I had this slight pause in the middle of one of those reps was I was unstable at the time, and so I just wanted to kind of, make sure I was firm because there's 200 pounds on either side. So that's 400 pounds. Obviously, not exactly 400 pounds because it's a pulley system. So it divides the weight in some way. I don't know the actual math. I tried to do it once and yeah, I just got overwhelmed and I was like, wow, I learned this stuff once upon a time and now I don't even remember it. Shout out to school. But anyway, so I wanted to try to study myself. I did that and then I finished out the set. But yeah, definitely for legs, I am definitely out of the gym. Um, as you can see, I have surpassed the dumbbells for my hamstrings, so that's not effective for me. Um, leg extension for my push days, I've definitely also exceeded that, so that's unfortunate. And then what else? I think my dumbbells, my bench press at least, I'm definitely exceeded. I don't know about my dumbbell fly is okay. I will say that for what is that called? Squat. Or for my push days when I'm doing quads, I do the squat on this cable machine. So what I do is I take a bar and I'll I have a video that describes this, or rather, I have a video that actually has this me doing the exercises. But I take a bar, connect it to either side, and then do squats. Same type of methodical warm up where I do a set of 20 with a light weight or lightest weight, then set of 10 with a heavier weight, set of 8 with a heavier weight, and then I get into working sets. I think though what I want to do is put the last set of warm up before the working set. I want to make them closer to the working set because I find that at least for myself, the working set still I'm kind of like uh, steadying myself and finding my footing. And or rather, I would prefer that I was just solid, firm, and each set of the working set was just wonderful. Trying to get there. And maybe that's, asking for too much. So we'll see. But I would definitely rather like to be at that point where each of the working sets obviously is work, but also I feel like is as close to perfection, if you will, as I can get. So yeah, that's where we are. This is just a very long, arduous process. I do apologize. I talked a lot and had a lot of information while I was actually doing the recording here. I didn't talk during the sets, but I did talk in between, and unfortunately, I lost all of that audio. So I'm very disappointed. So here we are recording it again, and I hope it is as useful as uh, what I had planned. I think when I was off the cuff, it was a little better. I tried to plan this one out, and it didn't work, so I tried to switch being back off the cuff, but I've lost some of the things. Yeah, this time though, as you can see, I'm having a little bit of a problem with the strap on the right. I will also say that I was just kind of out of it today. Like I was not feeling the gym, so I was just kind of like, here we are, let's get it in. But I have or a desire to be so many other places than right here, right now. But we did the exercise, we did the work, and like I said, it's paying off. So I'm definitely excited over the gains that I'm seeing. And as you can see, I'm still having problems on the right strap. But there we go. I think we're locked in. Yep. I think I actually mount the bench the best way here. And then I do a regular deadlift to get stand up straight. And then I enter the straight leg deadlift. There isn't really as much movement, which is also why I think it wasn't as taxing on my muscles to do it this way. So that's why I'm considering transitioning back to the dumbbells until I go to a proper gym. But yeah, this is just the first things. Oh, sorry, I should also clarify. So I do 3 warm-ups, as I mentioned, and then I do 5 working sets for each exercise, and I do a max of 10 exercises per muscle group in one lifting session. So, for example, today I have 2 exercises, 5 reps each, 5 working reps. I should say that. It's 13 reps overall, but 5 working reps of hamstring. And then I go to back and I do 13 reps overall, but again, 10 working reps of 2 exercises of 5 sets. And so far I see strength gains and changes, so I'm going to keep that, but always definitely evaluating and trying to understand where and what I can do better. So that way I am, making as uh, as much of a stride, as great as a gain as I can. Um, and yeah, the one also problem is that my body is trained, so I don't build muscle. as fast as, when I was earlier in my health and workout career. But that doesn't mean that we can't get strong. So that's why I lift. And also, I don't really per se want any more size. I'm content with how big I am. And now I just want to work on gaining more strength, i.e., improving my FTP and, being able to move things, lift heavy objects and place them. So, yeah, that's what is currently going on. I'm going to switch to actually analyzing the sets as they go, just so to provide clarity and understanding of what's happening. Um, so yeah, uh, unfortunately, there was a longer wait time here because I messed up and didn't actually press the stop on my watch. So the rest time was actually messed up. That's why it kind of jumped right there. But we are entering back in to the set. So as we have done in the previous ones, wrap the strap around so we can hold the, I really don't know what to call it. I'm just going to call them handles, but I really don't know what those are called. But so we can hold the handles and we can move the weight. Um, I think at this point I have identified the best way to get into a starting position, and that is to keep my arms as low as possible and step onto the bench in a with a bent knee position, so that doesn't really put any stress on my back and allows me to uh, enter a starting position. Yeah, see, never mind, I lied. I think I'm still trying to figure out. No, yeah, so step on a bent knee, then I do a regular deadlift, and now I start the straight leg deadlifts. But yeah, also I should mention that because I'm lifting for power or strength, um, I lift for power, and what I mean by that is moving heavy weight very quickly. So it's like explosive movements. Um, and that has maybe been working. I don't really know about that. But from my little bit of studying personal training, um, there is there are power gains and then there are strength gains. And so I'm working on both because there are sometimes where I have slow movements. I apologize. And the slow movement is to allow the muscle to feel, as some people say, time under tension, the muscle to feel the full rep range, the full, uh, what is the word I'm looking for? Range of motion. And I don't necessarily cater to one rep. Like some people also mention that they don't prefer, if you will, when people lift explosively because then you're not really training the muscle. Um, so that's an option, but I don't know. So that is right now I'm repositioning the camera so I can get ready for the next uh, rotation. Yes, let's call it rotation. And so here is the leg curl. So with the leg curl, I enjoy the concentrated uh, focus, if you will, on the hamstring. And the beauty about it is just how it causes so much growth in the hamstring. So it's definitely one of my better exercises when trying to train posterior chain. Well, hamstring specifically, but if trying to train posterior chain, obviously deadlift or something like that would be better. Um, right now, even though I was getting set up earlier, the reason that I'm not currently doing the workout or the working set is because for I'm giving myself the 3 minutes from my previous exercise to recover. Um, so yeah, like I said, it's a lot of downtime between sets, but this was kind of the happy medium. Some people go all the way up to 5 minute rest. I think though, for my rep range, 3 minutes is good enough. So I'm doing something like five rep maxes, and then I give myself space for two additional reps. Right now, for most of my exercises, I'm actually hitting that 7 rep count, which is why I am looking at going to a traditional gym just because it's not challenging me slash giving me the resistance I need to train as heavy as I would like. Right now, the reason that I got up from that set was the positioning on my legs wasn't optimal. So I went to move it further because as you go up, it kind of rolls towards the back of your foot. And I didn't feel like that was stable for me. But now I feel like by putting it a little bit up higher or a little higher up, I'm able to get the basically lock it in and it feels safe and comfortable to move that weight. And again, like I said, explosive reps, um, but it's still full range of motion. But like I said, some people believe in having a slow time under tension rep through the whole range of motion. Um, there's merit for both and a space for both. But right now in my training, that's why I'm doing explosive movements. So yeah, that's the leg curl. Also, if you find yourself in the gym and you are unable to find a leg curl machine, another way you can do it is with a dumbbell. Obviously, be very careful with this, but you can put one dumbbell and between your feet and hold that dumbbell, and then do a leg curl with that dumbbell. Obviously, you want to be very careful and you want to make sure that you don't injure yourself. So I would really suggest that anyone that uses that method would use a lighter weight that they can secure and that they know for sure won't move around or potentially injure them. However, if you are able to do it successfully, um, a leg curl is definitely a way to go, even if you're doing it with a dumbbell, because of the benefits and the focus that it places on the hamstring. So yes, definitely look at the leg curl. And again, on this uh, on this exercise, I'll be doing 5 sets. What is it? 5 sets of 5, max of 7 reps, with a 3 minute rest in between. Also, I think I might, no, the door was open on this day, but usually what I like to do is open the door and then kind of walk around a little bit to keep the hamstrings loose so that they don't lock up on me while I'm in the rest phase. This day I did not, but like I said, I was just going through the motions on this day. This was not one of my best gym days, but we still got working, we still got it done. So I try not to beat myself up too hard, but definitely not one of my most desirable days in the gym, if you will. So yeah, this is the hamstring curl. Um, what else did I want to say? I wanted to mention something that I just forgot. Um, oh yeah, so you have two different types of hamstring curls. You have lying, which is this one, and then you have a seated one. And they both actually perform different actions or have different focuses on the development of the hamstring. I'm more of a fan of the lying, and there are different positions that you can assume with the lying that trains the hamstrings in different ways. One of the things that I don't remember the correctness of it right now, but let's actually look it up. But it's actually the positioning of your feet when you're doing a hamstring curl. If if you pronate, um, or sorry, Give me 1 second. Let's actually look it up. Um, let's go. Um, engage. Here we go. So when you perform dorsiflexion, which is basically you curl your toes towards your shin, that engages the hamstrings more. Whereas if you use plantar flexion, which means you extend your toes away from your shin, that actually incorporates more of your calf. So if you really want to focus on your hamstring, perform dorsiflexion and then do a leg curl or a hamstring curl. And you really get the chance to target that muscle group and get as much growth out of it as possible. Because I also do other exercises on other days where I target the calf and I don't target the hamstring. So this would, for those who are looking for just targeted or targeted workouts just for the hamstring, this is a great way by performing dorsiflexion in order to, you know, focus on the hamstring, get that development that you're looking for, and that growth that you're looking for, or strength, right? Whatever, or power. So, whatever you're looking for. But dorsiflexion definitely is a great way to target the hamstring, which is definitely something that I'm focused on nowadays in my workouts. um, what else? There was another thing. Also, another way, if you want to do like some training at home, you can do a Nordic curl. And that's basically a body weight uh, hamstring curl, which is very hard because what a lot of people are doing is moving slow. And then also, if you start at the bottom and you're able to lift yourself up without even using your hands, like I have never tried it, but I imagine the strength and the focus that is needed to perform such an action is not currently in my capabilities, but definitely looking to get to that level. I've been looking at the knees over toes guy, and he definitely has a lot of great videos on just working on the knee and strengthening ligaments around it so that way you can uh, have better movement. And it's definitely something I'm interested in because that's why I'm actually interested, or rather, currently in what's the word I'm looking for? Physical therapy. Because, I've seen how people, when they get older, they don't move as well, they move a little bit slower. And I just don't want that to be my story. Like, I would love to. No, I may not be able to move the same amount of weight while I'm, 60 as I was when I'm 30 or 20. But at the same or in the same token, I would like to be at a place where I have a greater median lifespan, which basically means you have, um, you maintain your, full capabilities, um, and you don't have a reduced range of motion. You don't have to walk hunched over all the time, or any adjustments that people usually make when they have to make adjustments in order to compensate for bad flexibility or anything like that. Which I will say, when I started my health journey, I didn't do a lot of things right. One of the things that I did not do right was eating. So I used to be like, oh, well, what I'll do is I'll eat whatever I want, but then I'll just go to the gym and, everything will cancel out. Or rather, better yet, rather than canceling out, everything will be great because, I mean, it's the gym. Like, it basically cancels out all the bad decisions that you made for food. And then also because I'm gaining muscle, obviously I'll be better. Needless to say, that is incorrect. So I learned over time, learned over reading, learned over being a YouTube warrior, as my physical therapist calls it, that different stretches and exercises I can do, and just different ways of being healthy outside of just going to the gym. And I will say that personally for myself, I think I've seen huge benefits, huge gains, and I'm enjoying it. Definitely taxing on the body, but definitely see how I am making improvements, and just growing. But also one of the mistakes, if you will, that I made when going to the gym was that I thought I could also go to the gym and not stretch, and also go to the gym without warming up. And I was young again, so like I said, my body could handle it more. But I've learned, with time that stretching is important just as well as warming up. And I will say that the gains and the transitions and things that I've recognized in my body from actually doing things the right way. Go figure that, the things that people tell you actually are good for you. It's crazy. I mean, obviously, not everything that everyone tells you is good for you, but sometimes those things can be great. And so, yeah, just recognizing that and seeing how it's transformed my body is amazing. Seeing how I'm getting stronger is amazing. And I'm just loving every moment of it. um, Eating healthier, feeling better, feeling stronger. Yeah, it's a great feeling. I definitely must say that it's great. And then also I'll say I feel it when I'm off. Like I feel out of sorts. I'm like, what is happening? I don't like this. So definitely, while making strides and feeling better, it also can feel different and not ideal. But we're growing. We're trying to find ways to do better, make better decisions. Like for example, I started keto years ago, but for me, keto is my way of allowing myself to make good decisions with food, by hindering or not allowing myself to eat everything that I would like all the time. So, just for example, I really, really, really love sweets. Carbs are my thing. Like, give me all the carbs in the world, and I will be the happiest person on it. Bread, oh my goodness. Like, a great, soft, warm piece of bread sounds amazing. Now, I know for everybody, they may not feel that way, but for me. So, sweets and everything. That's why when I was younger and going to the gym, I felt like I could eat everything. And yes, technically, it would cancel out, if you will, the bad decisions I made just because my metabolism was so fast and everything. But the problem was that while it canceled out those bad decisions, at the same time, what's the word I'm looking for here? It didn't allow me to experience the actual benefits of, living a healthy lifestyle. So, like, I hit up one of my friends, I want to say a few days ago, and I said, hey, I actually have abs at night. And for those of you who may be unfamiliar or whatever, but, usually when you wake up, your body's in a fasted state. So you quote unquote look better, if you will, in the morning than when you do at night. Because when at night, you've eaten food throughout the day and, that kind of sits on your stomach, your stomach might distend a little bit. And so you don't look as quote unquote in shape. But now for me, at least not every day, but more days than not, like I can see abs, and that to me is just a success. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not every day, and I am not, let's say, as close to my ideal goal as I would like to be. But no, we are making strides, and really, to me, that's what life is about. It's like making strides, making improvements, adjusting where need be, and getting work done, right? Like trying something, failing, and seeing how it goes. And that's what, working out has been. It's just been try this, see if it works, try that, see if it works, and just making continual adjustments, improvements. Well, adjustments, hoping, because hoping is not a word, but hoping that those adjustments turn into actual improvements. But sometimes they're not, right? Sometimes they uh, they don't turn out to help me in the way that I wanted them to, and that's fine, right? We just make adjustments from there. So yeah, right now, just to bring it back in, I am adjusting the cable machine because I'm going to begin my lat pull downs. So we're now finished with my two exercises. So 10 working reps or 10 working sets each, 13 in total for legs and for my pull, i.e., hamstring. Now we are transitioning to my back, which is the other large muscle group, other large pull muscle group that I like to train on my heavy pull days. And so what I do is same thing, 3 warm-up sets and then 10 working sets. Um, Unfortunately, this video will not be long enough to cover the rest of my workouts, so I'll kind of throw that in here right now. But what I will do is I'll do 3 warm-ups for lat pull down, 5 working for lat pull down, and then I will transition to rows. And so I'll do one arm rows on the cable machine still, and uh, 5 on one side, 5 on the other. Um, I do, and I do it in pairs. So I do, let's say, the right side first for 5 or rep range of 5 up to 7. Then I do the left side, 5 up to 7, and then I rest at 3 minutes. Um, And again, also with this, I've seen huge benefits in my strength, huge benefits in my growth. I do apologize. I actually started the warm up and I didn't move the camera, but I'll do that shortly. But yes, uh, again, I can't, say this enough that warming up is amazing. The way my body responds after warming up versus just going in cold and saying, all right, let's lift heavy weight. And, that's just, it's not smart. You can hurt yourself. And then it's like, why, right? Let's just do things the right way. Yes, it takes more time, but your body definitely thanks you for it at the end of the day. And you just feel better at the end of the day. So, yeah. All right, so here we go. I'm about to adjust for you guys again. Sorry for putting you in my shirt, but let's see. Uh, Singing to myself a little bit there. But yeah, I wanted to put this up so you can get a view of the, what is this called? Of the lat pull downs. So I just did my first warm up. So now waiting a minute in between the next warm up, in which I will do a set of 10 reps. And I'll basically double the weight that I just did. So I think I might have done 50 on both sides. So now I'm going to do 100 on both sides. Um, And so I like to do a wide grip on lat pull down, and I like to be as straight up as possible. Um, and yeah, just let's get work done. Uh, for the warm-ups, I try not to be as explosive. Um, I know this might seem a little fast, but the reason for the warm-ups I try not to be as explosive as the working set is because for the warm-ups I do want my muscles to feel the full range of motion. Um, that's part of the warm-up for me. And so by taking them a little bit slower, um, they're able to go through that full range of motion, get that exposure, um, and uh, properly warm up. In cycling, I found out about this where they're called, I think, muscle tension intervals. And what you do is you maintain a power, but with a low cadence. So through the low cadence, your muscles are, slowly, I don't want to say slowly firing, but in the way in which they're being activated and firing, it actually wakes them up. So that way, when you are operating at a high cadence, they're actually more useful. They're actually available, and you're getting activation of the whole muscle instead of just part of it. Um, and again, I'm new to this, and so I apologize for anything that I might have said that is, I misspoke. But yeah, so sorry to go back really quickly. Now we're doing our set of 8. And I didn't double the weight for this one. I went up, I believe, 120 pounds total, not on one side, or yeah, not just one side. So that's our set of 8. So now that is the end of the warm up with that set. And now we're actually going to start the working set after this 1 minute rest. Um, but again, I'm thinking about the idea once I get into a regular or traditional gym of possibly doing that set of 8 still, but doing it with a higher weight for all of it, for my squats, for my leg curls, or sorry, for my deadlifts, for my pull downs, lat pull downs, and for my bench press, doing a set of 8 that is, higher, and then waiting 3 minutes after that set and doing the working set because I want to make sure that that working set kind of feels as optimal as possible and I'm not kind of like fumbling through it, if you will. Um, so yeah, I don't know if you can see, but I have some headphones in the back of my head. Those are my Aero Shocks, or I think they're called Open Shocks now. I like them. They're great. They're what they're called bone conduction, so they don't actually go in your ear. They go around your ear. And so they have a transducer, I think it's called. And what the transducer does is it vibrates the bone in your head, and that bone then goes back into your brain or whatever, and then it's translated into sound. I like it because when I cycle, I'm able to hear my surroundings, which for me is amazing and helpful because then I don't have to worry about, if somebody's about to cut me off or something, I can hear it before it happens instead of, blasting music and then, I get hit out of nowhere, if you will. So it's definitely a safety concern for me and it's definitely helped me during my rides. Now, I can't get lost in my music like I like to sometimes, but it's okay. I think I will trade the safety over getting lost in my music. And as I was saying before, unfortunately, this video does not cover my rows that I do, but I just did one working set. So now we're in the rest period. But after I finish 4 more working sets, I actually go into rows and it will be individuals. What I like to do usually in my workouts is do one one exercise that uses both sides left and right together, and then I like to do another exercise which isolates one side. That way I can kind of have a method, if you will, or an idea of which side is stronger or weaker. Obviously, I didn't do that with the um, leg curls, but I actually started doing that after I made this video. So I will do a deadlift, and then after doing deadlift, I do single leg leg curls, And like I said, that way I get to be able to identify which side is stronger or weaker. And then what I try to do is I just try to strain that weaker side a little bit more, put a little more attention to that. And that allows me to help it to catch up, if you will, to the stronger side. I don't undertrain the stronger side though. So I make sure that if the strong side can do X number of reps, I do the number of reps, but then I just push the weaker side to keep going for more reps. Um, so that way, over time, it hopefully will catch up. I've, for at least myself, I've noticed great benefits in doing this, and I love it. But teach their own. I understand that everyone is different, but yes, that is a way that I am able to grow my or yes, improve a stronger or weaker side based on what I'm doing. Finally, I don't leave any of my heavy days without training abs. And again, unfortunately, this video is not long enough in order to go into that, but I have 3 ab exercises that I'm currently focused on in this current rotate or not rotation, but this current period. And so my ab exercises are for Mondays. I like to do um, straight leg raises. And then I usually add like a hip thrust at the end. Um, I haven't been doing the hip thrust lately only because uh, my abs were like seizing. And the best way I can describe that is they just I'll finish the set, it'll be fine, and then they just lock up at the end of the set, usually on set 2 or 3, and that is not a fun feeling. And usually it was after some downtime of not being in the gym. So instead of adding the hip thrust, I've just been working on doing the leg raises until my abs acclimate, if you will. And then once they acclimate, I will add the hip thrust back in. But again, like I said, I can see my abs, so I know it's working. It's just I gotta let my abs acclimate, and I don't necessarily know why they're trying to give me so much trouble, but here they are. But yes, so I will do a set of 20 reps of lying leg raises 3 times, a minute rest in between. And that just lights my abs on fire. Like I'm walking out of the gym holding my abs like what did I just do? Um, and I like to then up the ante, increase the difficulty as it needed. So sometimes I add more reps to do that. Sometimes I shorten the rest period, whatever is needed. Then on Wednesdays, I like to do a Russian twist, but I do that in a crunch position. So I lift my feet off the ground and my torso is off the ground. And then I start doing a Russian twist. Again, 20 reps, both sides, and 3 times with a minute rest in between. And the lying leg raise, that activates the lower abs. The Russian twist activates the mid abs as well as hits the obliques. And then finally on Fridays, I do 3 sets, 20 reps again of just a crunch. And that lights my abs on fire too. And, it's just punishment all the way through. And while I don't necessarily enjoy it in the moment, as I said, I can see abs at night. So I know it's working. And, that gives me enough energy or, enough motivation, if you will, to keep pushing me through and to get the work done. So I'm enjoying it at the end of the day, just not necessarily in the midst of it. And so since the video is about to end, I just would like to thank everybody for watching. Um, I hope that you were able to gain something from this, that it was helpful, that it was insightful. Please let me know if you have any questions, and I will definitely try to make all of the content fit into one video instead of just having, you know, part of the workout session. I will try to include the whole session, but I don't also want to, I will say, waste your time and have you sitting at it looking at an hour-long video if you're not interested. So let me know also if you would like me to uh, keep this format where it's long format. I know that some people are not necessarily interested in that on YouTube, But, I'm open to learning. So thanks for watching. I appreciate your time, and I hope that you have a great day. Make it a great day, and go for that extra rep.